14 years ago, the Latino Museum opened its doors for business, dedicated to celebrating the arts and achievements of Latinos throughout the U.S., America, and internationally. Throughout the years, the museum has faced many challenges. However, this unique business has partnered with a leading financial institution. Their relationship with Bank of America is more than just business.
Part of the mission is education. It helps that our board is very education-oriented. One of the things that we want to do is to make sure that the kids come to the museum and see the art, get some self-esteem. Key to this is the Tony Gleaton exhibition that we had. Almost 500 years is the title of that exhibition. It has to do with blacks in Mexico and Latin America. He documented the way they had mixed. The slave traders brought Africans into various parts of Latin America. This particular exhibition focuses on the people around Acapulco. And when we brought in kids to see the exhibition, they had comments like, "Why, that looks like my Uncle Jose." And many of them could see that, wow, I see, why do I have kinky hair?
What is the annual operating budget?
Right now, without a building and without a full staff, it's typically in the $100,000 range. When the museum was in full force, it's about $1 million a year.
How do you acquire all these pieces that end up there?
One way that we have used a lot is when we have exhibitions, the artists a lot of times will donate a piece to the museum. Another way is we have purchased art. The other way is on loan for an exhibition. People will loan to fill gaps in the exhibition. I'm
sure there's quite a bit of business that goes into all of this, the insurance, the liability that you take in doing this. Tell me about that.
There's all kinds of insurances that have to be paid, from liabilities, errors and omissions, artwork. When the artwork gets transported or somebody loans or we bring art from there, that needs to be covered fully. The liability if somebody falls in the museum, getting sued, because an artist didn't authorize a release form. So insurances need to be fully across the board. It's one of the biggest expenses.
Stan, who does the board consist of?
Our board members are very deep into education. We've had board members that have been in theater, film. From that beginning, we also had a board member who was a vice president of the Bank of America. And it was through him that the Bank of America leased the building that was on 1st and Main, 25,000 square feet, and we put in like $600,000 to renovate it. Bank of America saw that we were serious about having a museum, and they turned the building over to us. They donated the building. We were at that building on 1st and Main for approximately 3-4 years, and then the city invoked eminent domain and took the building from us. However, the city did pay somewhat market price, maybe a little low, but that gave us the endowment that we have right now that can help us either lease a building or acquire a new building.
Tell us about the unique business relationship that you have with Bank of America.
What we have really asked Bank of America for help is, for example, if we need to preserve our endowment, in the sense of the endowment is a diversified portfolio, meaning that some is in bonds, some is in stocks and so forth. So we're asking for for example, some way that we can have our cash once we start operating, like in a way that the cash is there handy for us to operate on. That way you keep the investment and the return on the investment as high as possible, but you can still operate with the cash that you need. We asked them to help us find a building, and so sometime back I was put in contact with Jones Lang LaSalle, person that was in charge of the various buildings and so forth, and they were looking for us for what buildings might be available. I think the key point that we have been looking for is to be in the education culture corridor, around where all the museums and the Kodak Theater, the Japanese, the MoCA, in the downtown area. I feel so confident that we really have these goals in mind and are working towards them very diligently.